That's the new Scott the Woz video.
I did at Disney talk about like Wii games or something.
Nope, it's a skit. It's a skit episode. You know, the really funny ones.
Look, I'm only in it to learn about obscure 360 box art.
Oh, no. This is him and his friends pretending to speed date.
Each other?
Yeah.
That's hot.
Well, I mean, nobody showed up. Well, they didn't show up yet. It was 5 till 6 a.m.
Oh. Perfect time to find love, baby.
Yep. How's your day been, Coop?
Good. Relaxing. Starting to get ready for the holiday season.
That's good. How so?
Believe all my packages have arrived.
No, I see.
Yeah, I make my dad a card because I always make him one for his birthday, which is around Christmas time.
Same for my dad, and I just had the realization that I didn't buy him a second gift, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just order.
Just pretend whatever you got him was so good it's worth 2 gifts.
It's not though.
But pretend.
He got enough of that when he was a kid. I don't want to do it to him as an adult as well.
No.
Maybe because one of the things I had an idea to get him wasn't in stock, and it's not going to be in stock for a while. So maybe I just get it, like, your birthday gift will come in, like, March. You know, a couple months late, exactly. But it's what you wanted.
Well, there you go. He'll be patient.
Or maybe my mom has something planned. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, how about you? How was your day?
Pretty good. Start of my, well, not start. Day 2 of my vacation.
Oh, not quite there for me.
So I'm enjoying some nice rum and eggnog. Just a small glass of it.
Just to get festive.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I'm going to be going home. And eggnog, traditionally, doesn't keep for more than at least 3 weeks.
I would hope. I mean, it's egg and heavy cream.
Yeah. After about day 3, it starts tasting a little worse. But, you know, you just got to power through. Always put a couple ice cubes in it. Because, I don't know, room temperature eggnog just doesn't taste good to me.
Well, just keep it in the fridge.
Why would I do that?
What? Sam, where do you store your eggnog?
In the cupboard.
All right. So, Flying Microtonal Banana.
Hold on. We got to wait a couple. There's people trickling in. I see the viewer count jumped up to 3. We've only been live for 3 minutes. You can't just launch right into the content.
Well, we usually start 10 minutes after 8. It's because somebody wanted to watch a Scott the Woz video.
No, I watched it while I used the restroom and got water and eggnog. Mm-hmm. I logged on to Discord at 8 because my horrible time management skills meant that I kept playing Minecraft right up until the last second. I'm like, crap, I have to pee.
That's even worse reason.
It is. I'm not claiming innocence here.
All I want for Christmas is lapis.
What I do in my own time is none of your business. Speaking of funny voices, I've got 44 minutes left of today's free voices on that voice mod thing, and I'm wondering what's going to happen.
Once you run out of it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it does.
Probably can't use it anymore.
Well, no, it says today's free voices.
Oh, so you might get a new batch?
Yeah.
So you splurge on the premium?
No, because it's $40.
Yeah, but you really like it.
It's okay.
I mean, you got a job. That's what jobs for, is for money for things you like.
Cooper. I don't buy myself things. That's not how this works.
It could be your own little self-Christmas present.
Self-Christmas present. Good joke.
Like that, you can say that's the money you saved from cooking about 18 pounds of turkey in terms of food costs.
It's probably just about how much it is once I cook the second one.
Well, there you go. $5 for like 18 meals.
Yeah. Yeah, because I somehow still managed to spend my normal budget, and I didn't have to cook any food for this week, so I'm not sure where all that money goes. I mean, I bought a bottle of wine and a bottle of rum, so that's probably where the money went.
Oh, that's drinking money, though. That's separate.
No, that's part of the grocery budget. But it's not like I'm going to go through them quick. Well, the wine has to go quick because it's wine, but that rum's going to last a long time.
It kills all the bacteria.
Mm-hmm. And I bought deodorant, so that's probably about half of it right there.
Wow.
I don't spend much at the grocery store.
You don't spend much at all.
Mm-mm. I have a hard time spending money on myself.
Well, that's why you splurge on some voice emulators. It'll be fun. You can use it for streams, for D&D. You'll make your money back pronto.
Yeah. We'll see. I do want to buy. I've got a discount code for a Displate, which is like metal posters.
Okay.
And they've got one of Enceladus. So I was like, ooh, $24. That's a pretty good deal.
Is that a Pokemon?
No, it's a moon of Saturn.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, Cooper. You don't know what Enceladus is?
It's not the most common moon of Saturn.
It's the one with the liquid ocean.
Okay, everything's got liquid now.
No,
that's cool. Like 5 years ago, the moon's got liquid. Mars got liquid. Europa's got liquid.
Europa's the famous one. That's a moon of Jupiter. Enceladus is a moon of Saturn, but it looks a lot prettier, in my opinion. And they think that the core is made out of gravel, and there's a liquid ocean because obviously Saturn's massive. So the tidal forces as it orbits around the planet squish the moon, right? And it heats up, and the water can flow through the gravel core. Because it's not huge. It's a moon, but it's not giant. That's also just a theory.
It's just a theory.
A game theory. All right, we can start now if you want.
Talking about moons. Gravel.
They're cool.
Minecraft. Moons are cool.
Everybody has one, but what do they do? All right, let me... hold on. Before we start, I literally didn't set up anything because I just hit play as soon as I got back.
Wow.
It still says Fleetwood back.
Will Scott the Waz find love?
Hey, at least I didn't stay upstairs and finish it. I had a minute left, but I came back down.
Wow. Ultimate sacrifice.
Yep. What do we think? Electronic?
Rock?
Did you say yes for electronic?
No, yeah. I'd say yes. Somewhat.
That's probably about it.
I'd say those two cover it.
Whoops.
Is there a microtonal tab?
I don't think there's a microtonal tab. No. There's not anything for micro. Oh man, I'm gonna when we end, I'm gonna have to change the VOD. Oh well. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. Let me just fix all this stuff. Usually I set this up beforehand.
Oh, spoilers for last week.
Yeah, for last week. Kind of forgot. I also spelled microtonal wrong. Did I? Microtonal. No, that's right. It just doesn't think it's a word.
It just looks wrong because there's like two O's next to a T.
Well, I'm getting the squiggly.
King Gizzard and the...
What's the best way to split this up? I guess we'll just do this. The long titles always screw up the layout.
I think that works, though.
Yep. Good enough. Anyway, welcome back to the Yashka Podcast. This week we're talking about Flying Microtonal Banana by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Say that 10 times fast.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Yeah. And Sam, how familiar are you with King Gizzard's music?
I listened to, what's that one album?
Sketches of Brunswick East.
Yes, I listened to that album pretty extensively. 3 of the songs from that album are on my chill playlist, and they're the highlight of my chill playlist.
It's a great album.
Yeah, my favorite song from that album is Dust to Dawn on Lincoln Street. That is an amazing song.
I'm a big Spider and Me fan myself.
Yeah. I gotta say, I listened to the 3 songs from my chill playlist a lot more than the rest of the album, so I've only listened to the whole album a couple of times. But I like their sound. I think I've listened to a couple of their other albums as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, though.
They've got a few. For those of you who don't know, King Gizzard is a Australian-based rock band formed back in 2010 in Melbourne. So they're an outfit. They've got their lead singer is Stu McKenzie, with Kenny Smith on harmonica and keyboards, Cook Craig on guitar and bass, Joey Walker on also guitar and bass, Lucas Harwood on bass and keyboards, and Michael O'Caravan on drums and percussion. So they're like a 6-man outfit. And they are kind of known for exploring a lot of different sonic sounds. That's kind of repetitive, kind of a...
Sonic sounds.
Sonic sounds, as opposed to non-sonic sounds. But a lot of different kind of genres within the rock sphere. So like the first couple albums, like 12 Bar Brews, is kind of more like garage rock, kind of your stereotypical kind of punky, distorted sound. But, they've touched on a lot of different genres, like progressive rock, kind of like thrash metal, kind of more like psycho boogie stuff. They go to some interesting directions. Psycho boogie.
Never heard of that one before.
Electric boogie.
Like Jungle Boogie?
I suppose. And one of my personal favorites is Paper Mache Dream Balloon, which is all acoustic. But today we'll be talking about I believe it's their, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Their 9th album. So they're actually pretty prolific. They've had I want to say 15 albums since 2010. So they're popping them off. And this is Flying Microtonal Banana, which is their year of 5 albums is what they called it, because they released 5 albums in 2017.
Jeez.
Which is impressive.
That is very impressive.
Flying Microtonal Banana being the first of them, which focused on microtonal noises. Murder of the Universe, which focused on being a bad album. Sketches of Brunswick East, which is a great album. It's kind of this kind of chill, vibey music. Polygon of Wonderland, which is kind of just mostly prog rock. And Gumboot Soup, which is kind of a grab bag, which I also quite like. But yeah, so they kind of explored different spaces with their year of 2017. I think the majority of them are fairly good. And like I said, this one's kind of their focus is on microtones, which Sam, you can explain that. You're a little more familiar with that.
I can, and this is actually something other than what you're imagining, Cooper. So microtones, as you've written here from the wiki, I assume, the album is recorded in quarter tone tuning, where the octave is divided logarithmically. Now, the thing I'm a big fan of is half steps. So you have the traditional treble clef octave, right?
Right.
And instead of going from B to C, there's a quarter step in between where there's a half note. It's halfway between B and C. So this is a bit more mathematical as opposed to what I usually am a big fan of. What I'm a big fan of is really comes out in I want to say indie music, but I don't listen to a lot of it other than the stuff I've heard that is influenced from it. But this has a very different sound than, say, Jeff Lynne's, what was that song? I can't remember off the top of my head. Now You're Gone. Similar kind of feeling, but this has a very different sound to the traditional note structure with the half steps. And I could be completely wrong about that, but to me it definitely sounded like different notes.
It's definitely got a unique sound. The album itself is named after the lead singer's custom-built yellow guitar, which he kind of retrofitted with microtonal frets. The titular Flying Microtonal Banana. And this album touches on a lot of interesting kind of subgenres. Kind of a Middle Eastern, Turkish influences are heavy throughout, as well with kind of their standard psychedelic rock and like some elements of krautrock as well. So it's quite an interesting. It's a quote unquote rock album, but it's probably not like it's not like Led Zeppelin rock.
Yeah,
it's a little more experimental rock.
And this isn't the only album where they do use microtonals, I believe, as well. Because I'm remembering the book, that song. I'm pretty sure that has a lot of microtonals in it as well.
Yeah, and their latest album, actually, KG, is also kind of touted as like being a quote-unquote sequel to this album, where they kind of go back to the heavy microtonal sounds. Though they do sprinkle it out through their discography.
You want to hop into the first track, then?
Yeah, I say we do. It should be track number 1, Rattlesnake. Which kind of starts with kind of this kind of gusty, windy sounds. As the the guitar with the semitones kind of breaks in with the drums.
Mm-hmm. Should also mention the song's almost 8 minutes long.
Longest song of the album.
Right off the bat. It's got that very iconic guitar that sounds like KGLW, because I don't want to say the whole name every time. And it's got some, I don't know if you picked up on it, there's some good vocoding hidden in the background. It's really monotone, but adds some nice uniqueness to it.
Yeah, it's kind of this gruffy, electronized tone that kind of floats underneath the normal vocals. So there's always this kind of like added layer to any of the vocals on this song.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, right off the bat, the vocals aren't great, or the lyrics rather, but that's not the focus. That's not the point of the song. The focus of the song is on the sound. The voice is just another instrument, and I feel like that's true for a lot of their songs and albums.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the lyrics on this album or on the song is the word rattlesnake.
Yeah, moving on from that, the first 3 minutes of the song, they play the chorus, I think, 5 times. This is a 7-minute song. There is no evolution. The chorus is 45 seconds long. There's no time between the choruses. So you get 45, it starts with the chorus. Then you get a 15-second break. Then you get the chorus again. Then you get a 15-second break. Then you get the chorus again. And then the midsection from 3 to 6 just pulls instruments out and changes the vocals a little bit. And then that wind noise they throw in peaks painfully loud. It hurts almost.
Painfully.
It's very loud compared to the music. And you get sick of the first part of the song by minute 1.5, and it continues on for another minute and a half. And then through the end of the song is just repeating the same like 5-ish bars over and over again. And then they do the rattlesnake at the end. Don't worry, they bring back the chorus for one last time. It's almost like a 3-minute song stretched out into 8 minutes.
I think you're doing the midsection a little of a disservice. I mean, the wind effects I kind of mentally picture as like, kind of like them playing in like a desert or something. But there also has this kind of like a squeaky harmonica that kind of comes in with the vocals, where like the vocals are going low while the harmonica goes high. adds to an interesting effect.
Don't forget the bike horn that comes in at the end.
An excellent instrument that's underutilized.
Yeah. I think they started with a very bad foot here. The door opened on the bus, they're getting off in a new city, and they immediately faceplant into some dog shit.
I mean, it's not like a bad basis. It's definitely a song that overstays its welcome, though. It didn't really need to be 8 minutes long. I'm not sure why they went with that route. It does kind of like a bit of a hypnotizing aspect to it. But I feel like that could have been enunciated and truncated rather than the kind of like stretched thin.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I hate everything that this song is about. And this is a case again for another song that comes later on. They have some really good things here, but they just overstay their welcome so much that I hate them by the time it ends.
Yeah, the song kind of does collapse under its own weight. I wouldn't say I hate it. I just got sick of it.
Yeah, and getting sick of a song just after listening to it is a bit much. Like, you listen to it like 30 times. Yeah, okay, I can see that. But the first time you listen to it and you're like, it's kind of shit by the time you reach the end of it. Because I was vibing along. It started, I was like, oh yeah, all right. And then by the end of it, I was like, okay, thank God it's over. We're finally done. We can move on. I could see it being a 4-minute song, but 8 minutes. It's just, the good ideas they have there are just ground to dust because they beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, it's a little too much. Too few ideas spread off over too large of a time frame. But I still like the ideas they present. Just wish they had tightened them up.
Yeah. It just felt like they didn't stop beating the horse till the farmer that raised it died as well.
Really sent that coffin to a nail factory, eh, Sam?
It's a coffin in a nail factory, thank you very much.
Okay, whatever.
Very specific usage. You want to jump on to track number 2 then?
Yeah, track number 2, Melting. Which is a little shorter, like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Which I think helped the song immensely. And it's kind of got a little more of an ominous feel going into it.
Yeah, and like also sorry to interrupt, but all the songs on this album run into one another as well, which I think is not nearly done enough.
Yes, I always do enjoy. It's a big feature on Sketches of Brunswick Each too, or like even if it's like just little sound effects or just like a single instrument kind of carrying over into the mix. I don't know. I feel like I don't see why more albums don't do it because it really adds a cohesion to the song. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to do in post-production, but I guess like from like a radio edit or whatever, like, or if you're going for singles, it's less, viable.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're making
you say that, but some of the most famous Pink Floyd songs do it.
That's true, but they're always like cut down.
True. That's a good point.
Pink Floyd's a very rare exception of them just being able to get away with it because they're Pink Floyd. But yeah, and it goes into this song, and I really like the little the keyboard line underneath it as well. Pairs with the guitar as well, not quite nicely. I don't know. It adds this kind of chilling vibe to the entire song.
Yeah, the melodic line is really haunting, as you say. However, I will ignore all of that to complain some more. The last song had some really good stereo balance. I didn't really talk about it, but there was like 2 separate guitar lines, where they just play the same thing and play one line in each ear. So you can tell that they're different, but they're balanced. This one puts the drums and the synth in the left, and then a light electric guitar into the right, and there is no balance there whatsoever. The synth really weighs down that left ear.
I'm going to put a big asterisk next to that and say that I barely noticed that. You're just kind of weird.
I wonder if it's do you use closed ear headphones when you listen?
Like over ear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So mine are open. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Possibly.
Because I am getting bleed through of just ambient nothingness, as opposed to only experiencing the music. So I'm wondering if that load, because this seems to be constantly the case, because these are my best headphones, and they are over ear, but they're open back, so I get bleed through of any other noises.
Yeah, because I barely noticed it on this song, and honestly, I felt it kind of adds like kind of the off kilterness of this song, especially with that guitar solo thing at the 2-minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like has this very steady effect, but kind of goes with the wavy vocal effects.
But it's not a guitar solo, Cooper. It's a guitar cell phone button push tone duet.
Oh, yeah. But I like that kind of mixture of strange sounds.
It is, yeah. It's nice. It's very chaotic as well, in a good way.
Yeah. And I personally, I don't think this song, unlike Rattlesnake, it doesn't really overstay its welcome.
No. I would have liked to see it do a little bit more evolution, just because, like, speaking to their other albums, they do quite a bit of evolution. They start slow, they pick up, there's changes. This one was kind of similar all the way through. It not nearly as bad as Rattlesnake. It had that jazz feeling at the end, I thought, to this song. It wasn't necessarily bad. I just wanted a little bit of something, maybe a new instrument, maybe just something to shake it up a little bit. But I think it was chaotic enough that it worked.
Yeah, it could have used maybe a bigger ending, but yeah, overall, I still really like this song.
Mm-hmm. Jump into track number 3 then.
Track number 3, Open Water. It starts with more of those kind of wind sounds that almost sound a little like wave sounds, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little dual meaning there.
I will say, this one is more rock inspired, but the chorus is played twice by the time you reach a minute 30, which...
Yeah, I mean, it's another 7-minute song.
Yeah. But the chorus is already played twice by the time you reach a minute 30. Like, come on. It's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
No, but I feel like the song kind of double downs on that like kind of nefarious feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Though again, yeah, it's kind of too long of a song for the ideas they present here. Like I really dig the bass of it, like the stacked vocals with the kind of this really driving staccato guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost has kind of reminds me of almost like kind of early like 2000s kind of emo rock on the chorus with the vocals. But and then of course the semitonal guitar kind of breaks in around like the 1:15 mark as well, and it kind of pulls you back out into the microtonal sound. Though, yeah, like you said, it kind of it's kind of played his hand already by the 2-minute part.
Yeah, I like the is that I said it was bagpipes, but it might have just been that instrument that they used throughout the album.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it
sounded like bagpipes to me on this, though.
I think it's the Zurna.
You're probably right. I was going to give them bonus points if it was a bagpipe, but I don't think it is.
I don't think they're quite ready for bagpipes.
They're criminally underutilized in modern music, Cooper.
They are definitely underutilized. I'm not going to say criminally. Electronica. That does remind me of one time I was at whenever I went to the a graduation at the University of Chicago a while back, and they have bagpipe players whenever people are walking in, but like it takes like 30 minutes for everyone to walk in, so it's just like 30 minutes of like a 30-second loop of bagpipe music.
Nice.
Which yeah, so not a fan, but
but I will say this one, unlike Rattlesnake, by 4:45 there's new lyrics, there's new instrumental lines, so it definitely evolves more than Rattlesnake, but this one also suffers from the holding on to things just a little bit too long to make them stale. They almost added a new instrument. It was at like 5 5 minutes 30. They threw in a synth for like 5 seconds and then took it away. They almost added something new to the mix, but
and they really should have gone farther in. I do like that 4:45, like you said, where the vocal line completely becomes like this kind of staccato, like esque like delivery, and like these bongos pop in as well.
I didn't pick up on the bongos.
Yeah, they're kind of subtle in the back of the mix, but when you listen to it, it's like, ooh, okay. Just not have them pop in, but yeah, it feels like they could have like nixed like the middle 2 minutes of the song, and probably had a tighter sound.
Yeah, this one gets away with being longer, but still 7 minutes is a bit much. It could probably cut it down to make maybe 6 minutes 30, 5 minutes, and it'd still be not like 3 minutes like Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake had 3 minutes would even be pushing it for the amount of material in Rattlesnake, but this one it's there. It's just held just a bit too long, so by the time you reach the end of it, you're like, okay, all right, are they going to play it again, or are we going to get something new?
Yeah, no, I agree on Open Water as well with that one. I do like the more guitar focus on the back end, though. And the song has a pretty strong ending, I think, even though it kind of carries over to the next song.
Oh. Which is track number 4, Sleep Drifter.
Sleep and Drifter, which is a little more mellow.
Fits the title.
Yes. With these kind of whispery vocals that also fits the title.
And it's got this nice duet of the vocal line with the lead guitar. They're both playing the same notes, which is nice. Before a little bit of harmonica breaks in. I like that.
Yes. There's some microtonal harmonica on the album as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is used very, not like excessively, but like it pops up in the right spots.
Especially since the only harmonic music I could probably think of off the top of my head is Piano Man.
My favorite microtonal song.
Yeah, I don't think that was microtonal. There's also a little bit of harmony in this one, in the vocal line to spice things up. With the normal, I want to say normal, normal range, and then there's a very bass range as well that kind of harmonize throughout. And then about halfway through the song, it's almost like there's a completely different song that starts, which is not a bad thing, but it very drastic style change. It carries over themes from the first half, but it shakes up things instrumentally and with the mixing levels. There's a very distinct... Sorry, go ahead.
Everything kind of drops out. And it's like it's just the focus on the bass line. It kind of starts to build up a little bit, but it kind of keeps that low energy.
But the vocal line gets a bit faster with it as well. And even though there's that distinct break, it helps it to feel a bit more complete. This one, to me, this kind of feels like this is a song. The other ones kind of felt like, it's an idea. But this one's like, all right, this is a polished thing.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say as the other songs aren't like complete songs. But this one feels like it's maybe had a little more thought put into it. Or is willing to cut the fat and kind of let it stand on its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, solid song all around, I think.
Yeah, and it's not 8 minutes, so that's a plus as well.
Yeah, the back half of the album is all the songs are much shorter than the front halh.
Yeah, as you listen to the album, the songs get shorter as you go.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird effect, but...
Jump into track number 5, Billabong Valley.
Billabong Valley. Which is almost like, I guess the best way I can put it is almost like kind of like a Western microtonally. I
thought that Sleep Drifter had a bit of Western inspiration, but I removed that after analyzing this one. I was like, okay, this one's definitely more Western than the other one.
Yeah, where they kind of have these high vocals and this powerful bass that kind of pulled the song along.
And the high vocals are definitely just pitched up rather than a woman singing.
Yes, yeah. There's no women in King Gizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the song also kind of brings into effect that both a strength and a weakness, I think, of this album is that it has a very consistent sound. where obviously the songs go into each other and they all keep the microtonal sound.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some songs that are a little samey. I think the song falls a little bit into it. I mean, it's got a little going to it with the piano line, kind of like way back in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always that. If you don't, it's always hard to like. You want to keep an album consistent, but you also don't want to mix it up too much. Where I feel like maybe they went a little too much in like having a very consistent sound.
Yeah, I feel like that's more of a criticism as the album as a whole, as opposed to just this one song. I will say It was around this time where I was like, okay, the very base of these songs are very same, where it's fast strumming guitar and drums going quite fast. Like the instruments might be different from track to track, but so far it's always been that da 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 just as the base for all the songs. And by this point you're like, okay, I'm picking up on that. It's a little bit annoying. Let's break it up a bit, which happens. There's the slow breakdown in this song where all that drops out and it comes back in with the heavier piano. It moves it up in the mix, and that reed instrument. What was it called again?
Verna, I think.
I'm scrolling back up. See if
Zurna.
That Zurna comes back in, which I think is a great combination with just the piano, Zurna, and the singing. It's a Western. It's microtonal. I would have liked to see the harmonica return, but that might have been a bit too cliche.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little less into the song than you are. I don't know. I feel like the vocal line and the kind of general vibe of the song, even when it's slowed down, it kind of reminds me more of of the past songs than even before. I don't know. Something about the song just doesn't quite click for me. I kind of wish they'd gone more to the Western angle, honestly.
Yeah, that would have been nice too.
But they kind of pull back into the microtonal sound, which is fine, but it makes the song, I think, more forgettable because of it.
To each their own. Jump to track number 6, Anoxia.
Anoxia. Which I feel has almost a more rock aspect of this song. Especially with the beginning.
Yeah, it brings back good stereo sound with the separate guitar line for each ear that I was talking about earlier, which I always love to hear. If you're going to do stereo, that's the way to do it. Because you play the same song, you never play it the exact same way twice. So just that little variation that happens every once in a while helps it to pop in your ears.
It definitely hops, and I feel like this one's a little more in your face than some of the other songs. Sure, like there's like kind of waka waka guitars at the 2:15 mark, where you can feel them playing around a little bit more. As well as I think I quite like the vocals on this song as well too. I'm not quite sure what they did in the studio of kind of having like there's kind of like it still has like kind of the high vocal, low vocal, but they're a little closer together, so it's kind of harder to distinguish them, and I quite like that effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the vocals in this one, but I just feel like they really dropped the ball instrumentally on this one. It doesn't really go very far. The Zurna coming in later helps, but I feel like for the first two-ish minutes, it doesn't really go anywhere. And it's a 3-minute song, so if you want to evolve, you can't wait till 2 minutes 30. You have to compress the schedule. I feel like the Zurna came in just a little bit too late, and the song kind of laid flat for a bit, instrumentally at least.
That's fair. I mean, instrumentally, it's not the most interesting song, but
yeah.
Can move on to track number 7 if you're ready, Sam.
Yeah, Doom City.
Doom City. Ooh. And kind of living up to the name, the song kind of starts with kind of these like this like an ominous heavy guitar, and then like these kind of low chanting vocals come in as the guitar kind of drops out.
Yeah, I will say I was almost immediately distracted because the bass line in this song is a bit too much like Holiday by Vampire Weekend.
Wow, I did not get Vampire Weekend from this song.
There's one section where it's like the it's the heavy electric guitar where it's bouncing between the two notes, and it's almost the exact same thing that Vampire Weekend did in that song. And it kind of took me out of it, but that's a personal issue. That's not their fault.
Look, Sam, I'm not going to say... Obviously, I like a good Vampire Weekend song myself. But let's face it, people who listen to Vampire Weekend are the same kind of people who keep like wet naps in their car.
Yeah. I thought I liked Vampire Weekend. I don't like Vampire Weekend.
No. I still like him. I still think Father of the Bride's actually a pretty good album. I think their older stuff might be a little overrated.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, Contra's the best thing to come out of California. I'm like,
no. No, it's not.
It's good, or it's decent, but
I'll tell you what they don't have. They don't have a kookaburra in their song.
They do not have a kookaburra.
I really like that. That was a really nice touch, and it launches into the Zerna, coming in at a similar pitch as the end of the kookaburra, which I thought was genius.
Yeah, this song actually, I feel like delivers a little more of the concept overall.
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes, so not like super long, but it has nice, like interesting progressions. You get a couple of the choruses, obviously, and it kind of keeps switching back between like the more heavier guitar leads and the lighter guitar leads, which I quite like. I
agree. This is a well balanced song.
It's
jump to track number 8 then.
Track number 8, Nuclear Fusion. It starts off with, dare I say, like a groove.
Yeah, it's got a very different tempo than the rest of the song so far, and heavily distorted vocals.
Heavily distorted.
Like
these really deep, like electronic, like it's like one of your vocal filters, Sam.
Yeah,
it's like just a nuclear fusion, like really slow. It's like that effect, like in movies, like when someone gets like hit by like tranquilizer, like what's happening?
Yeah, just very deep. And I don't know if you picked up on it, but there's this nice little bit at the beginning where the hi-hat jumps between your ears super quickly, giving a cool effect before they back off of it.
Yeah, no, I did get that. It's kind of the drums. Yeah, they kind of go back and forth, which is interesting.
Which I'm glad they backed off of it, because sometimes if you keep that up too long, you almost get sort of dizzy from it. But thankfully, it doesn't stick around for too long, and you get just a long enough time to notice the cool effect before they drop it out.
Yeah, I think it's quite nice. And overall, I quite like this song too, where especially whenever the microtonal kind of keyboard comes in.
Yeah, that's a very old school synth sound.
It's very old school, but it kind of adds to that. I'm not quite sure how to describe the song with like, it's got a lot of different like varying components that kind of come into each other, but it kind of leads to this kind of oddly well-meshed song.
Yeah, and there was the part I really liked was there's 2 vocal lines, and they bring back that kind of monotony, deep singing, but the way they do it, it's at a slightly different pitch, so it almost gives this throat singing sound effect, where they're singing one thing. You know Mongolian throat singing, right?
Of course. How could I not know that?
But it is that kind of effect that I got. Is that kind of harmony between, because it wasn't just like an octave deeper. It was slightly different.
Yeah, which adds a little oomph to it.
A little something.
Yeah, I do kind of wish the groove went farther.
Yeah.
Because the song kind of is a little sparser on instrumental than I would have liked. I feel like they could have either gone into the heavier noise or kind of grooved it up, and they kind of did neither.
Yeah. But also, there's not a ton going on with the melodic line here, I feel. Like it's there, but it's just underdeveloped compared to other songs on the album.
Yeah. But of course, the song ends on that deep distorted voice again. So
also, they bring the harmonica back, which is a bit
they
nice.
do. And it leads us straight into the final track on this album, Flying Microtonal Banana.
Titular track.
Yes, it's also the shortest track on the album. And it's an instrumental.
Yeah, I would call it almost more of an outro than a full track.
Yeah, basically. Which kind of makes it, when you contextualize it as that, I think it's kind of a decent outro where it kind of incorporates obviously the sounds of the album. Where it has that very distinct Zerna.
Yes.
Throughout most of it.
Yeah,
it's hard to miss that Zerna.
It starts very calmly because it's got a little bit of marimba. It gives almost kind of a ELO jungle feel at the beginning.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, the ELO jungle would be one way to look at it.
I can relate everything back to ELO I can, Cooper. Come on.
I'm sure there's other examples we could have used, but
yes,
that works.
but I'm not going to use them.
Okay. But yeah, it's kind of almost not minimalistic, but kind of keeps a through line of just like, here it is, and then kind of fades out into these kind of nice wind sounds, like the album opened with. Ooh.
Yeah.
Which is actually something they kind of did on one of their albums, Nonagon Infinity, which was actually the album before this one. Its kind of gimmick was the fact that not only did all the songs kind of blend together, but the last song looped directly back into the first song, i.e. an infinite album.
I think I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. But this one kind of ends with the wind sounds, and it opens with the wind sounds. So I always like bookmarks like that.
Yeah, it's a nice little piece, and it's the end of the album. Unless you got some more to say, Coop.
No, that's about it.
That's about it. So, I'm gonna say my least favorite first because I want to do it.
Go for it. Go.
And I think this album iconifies the fact that traditional album structure no longer exists in the 21st century.
We did it, boys.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Coop?
I said, we did it, boys. We killed it.
Yep. Because they made the controversial decision of putting the B-side at the front of the album. Rattlesnake is the worst song on the album. It's terrible. And they put it first.
Now, I agree with everything you said about Rattlesnake in terms of its weaknesses. I think you're being a little harsh on it.
It's the worst song on the album, Cooper.
Just because its central groove is, like, I think pretty solid. It's overstretched, yes, but like it's not like a bad like central hook that was then stretched. Personally, I kind of disliked Billabong Valley more.
Really?
Yes. I don't know. It just didn't grip me at all. I mean, it's shorter, of course. And I think maybe it didn't have as many glaring weaknesses as Rattlesnake, but I just didn't like the central hook, and I don't know. It kind of blended. It felt like the most like kind of bleh song in the album, where like it didn't really have a defining feature. And like it's one kind, or I guess its semi-defining feature was kind of its Western vibe, but they didn't really dig into it, so I didn't really care for it.
Which is, I actually have that as the best for me. That's my number one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A rare flipping of that.
Yeah, I will say, I liked Nuclear Fusion better, but there's just something about it that prevented it from being my favorite. Everything they do in that is better. Everything about the song is better, but I don't like it more. And I don't know why.
Some music is emotional in nature, so sometimes you just got to follow your heart there.
Yeah, but if I listen to this album 24/7 for the next week, I bet Doom City will be Nuclear Fusion will be my favorite by the end of that. But I don't know. It was just there's something about it that just prevented it, even though everything they did in that song was better than whatever they did in Billabong Valley.
Sometimes something just clicks, and you're like, I just like this more.
Yeah. What about you?
I quite liked Melting, the second song in the album. I don't know, the off-kilter eerie feel of it, I think, paired very well with the microtonal sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some crunchy drums, some wavy vocal effects. I really like the guitar and keyboard line that kind of goes throughout it. And I just dig the central groove it has throughout. It's 5 minutes, just the right length to be a long song, but not like too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really dug that song. It clicked with me.
Well, there we go. Do you remember who did the?
Pretty sure I did last week. If you want to take it.
All right, well, I'll take it on then. So here at Audio Shop, we do. We actually started as a car company.
Little known fact.
Yeah, we've got a dealership in every state, at least one. We're well on our way to opening our first stores overseas as well. $15 billion in sales last year, and
$20 billion in debt. We don't know where it's all going.
Yeah. But as such, when we started this podcast that has no advertising whatsoever, and we sometimes don't do it, we decided to give the ratings something to reflect our booming car business. So we've got Showroom, which is 5 out of 5, top of the line. It's got that eagle down in the seats, and white rhinoceros ivory for the steering wheel. And then you've got 1 out of 5, which is scrapyard, bottom of the barrel. It's a Trabant that got passed down to you from your great-great-great-grandfather from East Romania, that somehow still runs, even though you took the engine out last summer. But you're pretty sure it's using your soul and killing you while you're driving it. And then, high and low, depending on how we feel. So, Cooper, why don't you go first? What would you give this?
I think this album is it very much encapsulates the idea of like a good idea that maybe wasn't executed as well as it could have been. Because I really dig the microtonal sounds that they go with, and overall I think King Gizzard has a good track record of kind of tackling a genre, and kind of incorporating the rock and psychedelic pop genres into whatever album they're trying to tackle. This one I feel falls a little flat in places. Some of the songs are overly long or maybe a little samey. But I still think overall it's really a net positive listen as opposed to a net negative, just because of the core ideas, the core delivery of it, even if like maybe the window dressing and some of the secondary items of the album are lacking. So overall, I feel like a high fixer-upper. If you like microtonal sounds, it's worth checking out. And even as just kind of a microtonal experiment in rock, I think it's worth looking into. It probably won't become your favorite album, but I think it does enough interesting and novel things to kind of reward it being something that should be listened to.
Okay.
What about you, Sam?
I'm going to have to give it a high used rental.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good ideas here. A lot of good sounds. Probably won't ever listen to any song on this album again, if we're being honest. I don't know. There was good ideas, but I feel like they didn't execute on them. The good ideas that they did have, some of them got beaten to death twice. It's just, it's an okay album. Would I recommend it to anyone? Probably not. You can probably get away with not listening to this, unless you're really into microtonals or King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard. But yeah, it didn't actively hurt to listen to. I was vibing through it, but I just think it's kind of subpar.
Completely fair.
And that is the first part of the show. I say first part. It's 99% of the show. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever other music we've been listening to this week. And I've been in quarantine, so I haven't really been listening to music. I listened to some Mannheim Steamroller. That's about it.
Oh, you're going to get those results back soon?
I did. I am negative.
Hey. There we go.
Got them back this morning.
Which means you'll never be able to catch it.
Yeah, no. This is already my second test I've had to do. What about you, Coop?
In terms of a listen, maybe I'm going to dip into the obscure bag for this one. So a friend of mine messages me about a artist he found in the to use this quote, in the bowels of NPR, which is this artist called Godcaster. They've got like 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, but they just released an album called Long Haired Lotus, and it is quite enjoyable, I might say. It's kind of like I'd probably describe it as like Primus, if like they did like California rock. It's a very interesting sound of like very off kilter rock. It's not always like pleasing, but then kind of validates into a very successful song. Uh, it's kind of hard to describe in terms of like without comparing it to others.
Right.
But as like an outing, I think it's very strong. And I think it's criminal that they don't have so many monthly listeners, but hopefully they start to pick it up. And then I can be the asshole who says, "Oh, you didn't know Godcaster where they only had 1,000 listeners?"
I listened to them before it was cool.
I listened to them before they even made music.
I'm in their top 0.05% of listeners on Spotify.
I hacked into their emails and found their rough drafts before they released anything.
Speaking of 0.05% listeners, I am in the top 0.05% for ELO, so suck it.
Well, I would hope, or else I'd be concerned about the average consumer's amount of ELO. If you're only like, I'm only in the top 30%, I'm like, what? Who's the other 30%?
Yeah, I honestly didn't think I would be that high. But I think I severely overestimate how many people still listen to ELO. I think that's...
You severely underestimate how much you listen to ELO.
Listen, I only listened to 13,000 minutes of Spotify this year, and at least 3,000 of that was one podcast. I'm sure quite a bit of it was Review Bras podcast. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of time. And of course I listen to the albums that we do every week. So it's like I didn't listen to that much of ELO. But I guess I listened to it enough to be in the top 0.5%. 0.05%, rather.
Maybe Jeff Lynne will email you congratulations.
God, I hope so.
Sam, do you want to come over to my... I don't know how he sounds like when he talks. Do you want to come over to my... Do you want to come over to my studio, record a song?
Yeah, I don't think that'll
Balance of Power 2.
Even though all my top songs were either just from his solo album or Traveling Wilburys. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Audio Shop podcast. And we will see you again next time.
So it will not be next week because there's Christmas, and also the week after that because that's New Year's.
Yes.
But when we're in 2021, we'll see you then.
Yeah,
keep an eye on the Twitter at AudioShop14.
Oh yeah, I forgot to do the whole outro. I'm sorry, I'm completely out of it. But if you scroll down on Twitch, there's a little button of Jeff Lynne's face. We talk about him enough, and I run the Twitch page, so I get to decide what goes there. And you click on that, it'll take you over to our YouTube channel, where all the past uploads are, except for last week's, because I haven't made it live yet. But all the past ones are there, if you like what you hear. And if you're listening now on YouTube, go down in the comments and click on our Twitch. Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. United States time, EST. You can listen to us live and hop in the chat and talk to us. We've had, I think, 7 messages today? Maybe a few more. So if you actually say something substantial, we'll talk to you because...
Or just say poggers. We're fine for that too.
Yeah, or you can just say poggers. That's what most people do. Most people being our few friends that listen to us. But yeah, you already did the Twitter, Cooper, so I guess we can just go ahead and wrap up then.
Yeah, get out of here. Go celebrate Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah. That started already, right?
Yeah. Happy New Year as well.
Yeah, and we will see you all next time.
Yeah, see you later.
See ya.